I'm going to talk to you about how I organise and how I use the Wiki, the Views Wiki, as a teaching tool. I've been using it for 4 years now, and so I think I've got it down pretty pat, although I do see occasional little changes that I need to make every semester. Just to give you a bit of context, as Gina said, I'm in the School of Management School of Business in Hospitality Management, and I use the Wiki in what's called Managing the Accommodation Experience, which is basically a unit which teaches students about how hotels run, how they perceive the society, and so forth. And so the students actually go out as part of this group Wiki and actually go to a hotel lobby and they comment on the servicescape of the hotel and put it all into their Wiki. But I'll just reveal a little bit more of that later. Okay, so my background, which I've got here, we've had, why did I do a Wiki? Because it was not traditional. They'd been doing a report every year up till now, and I thought there must be, and blended learning in 2013 was, the catch cry of everything. I thought, oh right, I'll do something really interesting here. There's plenty of technology around, and so instead of doing the traditional report, which is, a bit sort of, same, I got them to do this Wiki. It's also, I found, it's very good for students who are not good at writing reports. They're visual learners, and I had quite a few of those. And they really liked it, and you can see on the feedback, because they could get someone else in the group to do the words, but they could actually apply their creativity to it, and so they really enjoyed it. It was collaborative. Obviously, with a Wiki, everyone is able to put in their part in real time or in a bit later, and so there is supposedly constant communication, and they're simple to use once the students have learned the technology, and I can take you through how over the 4 years it's changed a little bit. I have to say that when I started in 2013 that the Views Wiki was a bit clunky, okay, and students had difficulty with it. This year, Hermie came and gave a little presentation on it, which I've developed as well, and the students got it straight away. I had no questions on what do I do and how do I do it and so forth, because Views is much more user-friendly these days, and perhaps the students are too, who knows. Anyway, so I have here a little YouTube clip of me being filmed 4 years ago and talking about the Wiki, and I haven't aged a bit. It's really good. I'll go now, shall I? Okay, so that was 4 years ago. So it has progressed over the time, and I've learnt quite a lot more about it. So this was their assignment question. They had to, as you could see in the YouTube clip, physical dimensions, social dimensions, symbolic dimensions, natural dimensions of the hotel scene, and they had to go out, all 4 of them in the group. I think it was a group of 4, and had to go out and observe this. And in order to make sure that they all went, I made them have a photo, upload a photo of themselves onto the wiki at the actual place, because you know we don't do things like that. 2 of them will go, and the others will stay in bed. So that was the question. Now, what I've incorporated in the time between beginning and end, as I was saying, the first one, I let them loose and let them figure out the wiki themselves. Because of the technical problems, I didn't do that in the future 3 years. I've had Hermie create a really nice little practice wiki, and she comes into my classroom and shows them, walks them through, and they can ask her questions and so forth, and so they can get their heads around it pretty easily, rather than have them being hysterical and saying, 3 days before it's due, we don't know how to use the wiki and so forth. So they're sort of well armed. So they have that. They also, in order to make sure that they've all got a good perspective on their assignment, I get them to do what I call milestones. Now, the milestones aren't marked, okay, but they all have to submit them. Okay, so there's milestone 1, which is a summary of the journal article that the Wiki question is based around, and it's by Rosenbaum and Messiah. So they all have to read it, okay? And I give them a crib sheet to fill in, so it's not exactly onerous. It's not like they have to, read it and put their own, their own interpretation and so forth. They just have to read it to answer all the questions. Then they have to upload it to Views. If they want feedback, I'll give them feedback, okay? And I make that well known. I'm not going to mark them all, but if they ask, I'm quite happy to go through it. Then in week 7, milestone 2 is due, okay? And milestone 2 is when the whole 4 of them get together, go out to their accommodation facility, having read the article, and they know what to look for. And they go out and they take the photos, and they each do their own little part of those 4. There's 4 students, so they do 4 parts of it, and take the photos and come back. Then they, in week 9 we do the Wiki, or you demonstrate the Wiki, and in so they've got from week 9 to week 13 to put their Wiki together. In week 13 I close the Wiki in order that I can mark it. And I also have Spark peer assessment on it as well to make sure that everybody's kept honest about their input into the assignment as well. And that's just about finished, and I'll be able to apply it to the final marks. This is some student feedback that I had from the SFUs, and I've collated some of that. So in 2013, positive, doing an assignment other than a report was interesting. So there you go, so they quite like doing that. However, the second one is hated making a wiki. I would have much preferred writing a report. Can't win, can you? Okay. Then the next one, the wiki was difficult to a certain extent with technology not working and other things not working the best. I don't know what other things were, probably the group. But then there was a positive and negative, which is constructive criticism, if you ask me, which is the use of the wiki taught me a lot, although it taught me a lot, more guidance was needed and discussion of what is actually required. For example, some examples of the finished product from the version we're using. I understand this was the first time the unit used the program, so I still do recommend it for a future semester. So based on comments like that, I can tweak it and make it more accessible to students and give them, take away stumbling blocks, put it that way. 2014, enjoyed the wiki, yay. The wiki assignment was a fun and unique way to present the information about Servicescapes, so that was a plus. And then negative, the wiki, some technical elements and possibly more time allocated to navigating and exploring how the wiki works. Well, obviously they didn't come to the lecture in week 9 because we spent an hour on it. But anyway, you never know. A positive and negative, the class needs a more detailed explanation or longer time needs to be spent teaching the students how to properly use the wiki and what all the toolbar buttons mean. I mean, you can just... Yeah, well, anyway, the wiki took quite a lot of time to edit and enter. Well, that was the point. But anyway, this is some of the feedback. And in 2015, when I was looking back, there was only sort of one thing written about it. The group assessment was fun as we worked in groups, and I enjoyed my group, and we all got along, worked well on the assignment, and the assignment wasn't boring. Okay, so that's pretty good, hey? Cracked it. Yeah. So, you can see just over the time that I've been using it, the negatives perhaps have been ironed out, and the positives have been made much more accessible. And there are no negative reports from 2000. Well, that I could see from 2015, and I used it also in the semester just gone, and we'll be using it in the next one as well, and see how it goes. What I was going to show you was some examples of the current wiki, just so that you can see what it looks like. So I'll just see if we've got views on here. Here we go. I'll just look. Oh, I have to log into my own, don't I? Yes. Oh, I'll do that. That's right. There. So I've closed them all off there. How about if I open just that one and see what it's like? Okay, so this is how they did them. Now, we figured out this table of contents business over here, unless you put things into alphabetical order, so while there's A, B, C, and D on this particular one, or 1, 2, 3, 4, they don't form a logical index or a table of contents. And so I gave them instructions on exactly how I wanted it set out. So maybe I shouldn't have, well, it's easier to do that, otherwise they get a bit sort of worried. So table of contents, introduction and so forth. So the first one was QT, the place that they went to. If we have a look at the table of contents, and I got them to put links to each one. So if we look at natural dimension, okay, and so what they did, it's kind of like a report. It's not, really all that much out there, but they did that, and they've got a nice little photo here, and they captured them properly and all that sort of thing. So really, they're quite a high standard, I have to say. I was quite impressed with them this time. Wikis, sorry. Oh, bigger. Another one. We'll try this one, see what this one's like. Hold on. Okay, and there's another one that they went to Adina and looked at the physical dimensions, took photos, all that sort of stuff. The only thing that's wrong with these is I didn't put links on the actual page, and none of them have done it, so that's something to help me to remember for next time. So basically, yeah, that's how I use the wiki, and I'll use it again in the future. Quite confident with it now. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Catherine. Thanks for sharing off the in situ examples of the students' work as well.
How many questions? Hi, Catherine. I'm the neighbour in the room, so I really enjoyed you talking about the collaborative experience your students went through. Yeah. What I also really liked is how you talked about the collaborative approach that you went through with the fabulous people in the school business, but also with Amy and the separate team. I thought that was a really nice way of approaching the design of that. So thank you for mentioning that.
Catherine, you talked about changing the way you marked the wiki from the way you marked it in the wiki. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, I've left the marking criteria pretty much the same as I had for the report, thinking, oh, well, it'll be the same criteria. And then when I actually got to mark it, the criteria, I thought, this doesn't fit anywhere. Okay. So I actually had to go back and look at how to construct criteria that were more apt to a wiki. So I had to have some kind of creativity in there. I had to put in that they needed to put links in there. That sort of just change it to the way that I did those criteria so that they were more suitable. That was quite easy to do. It wasn't sort of, but I did do a bit of research into it. There's rubrics from marketing wikis, so I did quite a lot of research into finding the most appropriate kind of way of doing it.
Hi, Catherine. I consider it quite a unique assignment in terms of content.
Yeah.
But Because you have to be careful that you don't encourage students for third-party start off as a corporate say, oh, this staff member or the university is encouraging students to infringe copyright. So you have to be very careful. Students only copy under fair dealing for research and study. They can't communicate. They can't put stuff online.
That's probably like now a whole other, let's say, conversation just there as well. So,
But there is a policy that you can locate that stuff within Usenet because it's password protected and it's not accessible. So you can reload. You can use copyright material within Usenet.
Because it doesn't even matter if it's password protected. Students can't communicate third-party content up to your platform.
we might have to keep this conversation, I think, to the networking session, just so we can keep on time. But I think we need to explore that a little bit further as well, some examples. So thank you very much. Where's Catherine gone? Catherine, thank you so much. One thing, your enthusiasm is really infectious, Catherine, as well. So thank you so much.